Hi, I'm Kelly Kirksey, and I am the Interim Minister of Family Life here at Inman First Baptist Church. I'm so glad you're here with us today for our Advent story time. We are reading Unwrapping the Greatest Gift by Ann Boskamp. Today we are on December 15th, and it is called Bowing Down. December 15th from 1 Kings 18:21. How much longer will you waver, hobbling between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. Many years after King David, God's people had an angry king named Ahab, who didn't love God at all. Soon, many of God's people also hated the one real God, who loved them with an unbeatable, unconditional, unwrappable love. Instead, they worshipped a false, imaginary god they called Baal. Now every heart beating in every person is made and wired to worship something. You might not be able to tell from the outside, but every one of us is bowing down to something. And if you don't choose to bow down to the one real God, you bow down before a fake God. Some Baal. See, Baal isn't just the name of one fake god. It's the name for anything we set our hearts on besides God. There's the Baal of bigger toys, and the Baal of more stuff, and the Baal of me, me, me. It's always our ugly Baals that keep us from the unstoppable, unfailing love of God. So a man named Elijah, a man who loved God and listened to him, told King Ahab to have everyone gather at Mount Carmel. Elijah stood up at the front of the enormous crowd of people who were all bowing down to the Baals and cried, "How much longer will you lean this way and that way and flail and flop about between the one real God and the Baals? If the Lord is your one real God, follow him and bow down to him. But if some Baal is really what you are bowing down to, then don't pretend that God is your greatest gift." They say that when you waver and flip-flop between two gods, what you are really doing is sinking, like you're drowning. So Elijah told Baal bowers to put a bull on the altar and ask their Baal to light the whole thing up in a ball of fire. Then Elijah would do the same thing and pray to his God. Whichever one hurled down the fireballs was the real God. So the Baal bowers built their altar, and then they flailed and flung about in this dance, trying to get Baal to drop down some fire. Then they started to do even more heartbreaking things like hurting and cutting themselves to get Baal to notice them, to hear them, throw down some flame. Can you guess how you know we're bowing down to Baal on the inside? When you are trying to perform, when you are trying to impress on the outside. You know you have a Baal when you cut yourself down or you cut anyone else down. Never forget the gift of it. There is only one real God who was cut open for you, so your heart could be close to him. So you don't have to cut yourself down or cut anyone else down. But the Baal bowers danced even more crazily, looking like they were drowning. It's hard to get a fake God to do anything for you, isn't it? Then Elijah quietly poured water over his wooden altar. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Do you know how hard it is to start a fire with wood that's wet and dripping? But Elijah whispered, "Please send fire, one real God, so everyone will know you are the one real God." And fire fell like flaming stars out of the sky and lit the wet wood, the flames like tongues licking up the water ringing around the altar. The mouths of the people dropped shocked open. The one real God is real. Many years later, a star would burn like a glowing flame in the sky right over a stable where the little baby God would lie in a manger, much like an altar, and tongues would murmur it again that night, just like we do tonight. The Lord is the one real God. He is really our God. And you can feel it, this love for our Lord burning like a warming fire in all of our hearts. This week, as you go about your days, I hope you will think about, what is it that is your one real God? What is it that we worship with our time and our money and our thoughts? What is it that might be taking the place this Christmas of baby Jesus? I hope you have a wonderful day of Advent.